want to be a good mom, you want to be healthy, you want your body to be healthy when you're growing a baby, and this is an important factor in that if depression, anxiety is something that you struggle with. Hello everyone, it's Amanda with Eat Pray Crunch, and today I wanted to address an issue that probably isn't talked about as much, and this is a video that I was inspired to make based on some questions that I've gotten from you guys. You guys probably saw several months ago that I made a couple of videos all about my personal struggle with anxiety throughout my life, and that is something that I have always struggled with. And if you want to know the whole story, I recommend that you click on this card here before you watch this video, just so you kind of know my background and where I'm coming from. And if you watch the second video in that little series, I talked about how after years and years and years, I finally decided this last year to get on an anti-anxiety medication. And like I said in that video, I don't know what took me so long. I think it was just a little bit of my crunchy ego. There's a part of me that was like, I really don't want to be putting any kind of drugs in my body. I don't want to become dependent on anything. I feel like I want to learn coping mechanisms and strategies and all of that, which I have done, but ultimately none of that was doing the trick for me. And I realized, you know, when I got to a really bad place a couple months ago, that I just did not want to be living that way, especially for my children. They deserve to have a mother who is calm and confident, and I just didn't want to be that kind of example for my kids. And I just wanted to enjoy life more and enjoy my kids instead of feeling so overtaken by anxiety in so many situations. So long story short, you can watch the whole video to hear the whole story, but it's been a game changer for me. It really, really has. I cannot tell you guys, since I started going on medication, that it has just been so much easier to do the things, just the simple tasks in life that I found to be so overwhelming and so daunting, and things that I was avoiding doing because I was afraid of experiencing, you know, debilitating anxiety or panic attacks. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be working through any, you know, issues that might be causing your anxiety or learning coping mechanisms, you know, all that kind of thing. That you should be doing that, you know, seeing a counselor, like whatever it is that you need to be doing. You have to be going at it from both angles. But I feel like I had already done all of those things and it wasn't cutting it for me. So going on the medication was probably one of the best decisions I have made in terms of my mental health. So long story short, it has totally been worth it. I am just a much more sane person and I enjoy life so much more because of it. Long story short. So ultimately then the question was, well, what were we going to do when I got pregnant with my third baby? Because I had gone on this medication several months before I got pregnant with my current little boy now, our third baby. I have all my pregnancy updates in a playlist here if you're interested in that. But a question that I've gotten a couple of times from you guys and from just some of my real life friends as well is, are you continuing on the medication now that you're pregnant? Or did you stop before you got pregnant? That kind of thing. So I just wanted to address all of those questions because I feel like it's a legitimate thing. I haven't really talked about it much in my pregnancy updates, but I feel like it kind of merits its own video. So ultimately, what it came down to was I talked with my nurse practitioner, who's our primary care physician, and I also talked with an OB about what I should be doing about being on this medication. Should I be getting off of it before getting pregnant, or when I find out I'm pregnant? How safe is it? Like, are there side effects? Will it affect baby? That kind of thing. And both of them agreed that the drug that I am on is like the safest drug for pregnancy and breastfeeding. And especially the OB, she said this is the one that we prescribe to moms all the time. It is well studied and known to be safe. So I've had a couple of you ask which drug I am on. I am on sertraline, which is the generic brand of Zoloft. Now, I am not a doctor. I am not telling you guys what to do. I'm not prescribing anything. This has just been my experience. And I would definitely, if this is a route that you are considering going, definitely talk with your doctor, because everybody's body is different, everybody's chemistry is different, everybody has different needs and that kind of thing. So what works for me might not be what you need, but I just wanted to talk about my experience. But the doctors that I talked to, they both agreed that that is one of the safest ones that you can take during pregnancy and breastfeeding. And so that just gave me a lot of confidence, because I was thinking, oh, maybe I should wean off of it before we get pregnant, you know, and I was asking, like, do I need to do that? And they said, no, because it's really safe, and especially in the low dose that I'm taking, it's especially safe. They were saying that what's even more important is, you know, me having my mental health while being pregnant. Like, I need to be able to function well, because I have 2 younger kids as well, and I need to be able to, you know, take care of them and be pregnant at the same time. And you also have to consider the flip side, which is if you don't go that route and anxiety or depression is something that you really struggle with, and you are not keeping it under control while you are pregnant, that can have negative effects on baby as well. Because when you have that constant cortisol, which is the stress hormone, going through your blood while you are pregnant, baby is getting that as well. And so in the grand scheme of things, that can have an even more negative effect than, you know, taking a pretty safe drug that's going to keep you much more even keel and functioning better and feeling like you can face your pregnancy and take care of your kids and that kind of thing. Because ultimately that is the most important thing, because you want to be a good mom, you want your body to be healthy when you're growing a baby, and this is an important factor in that if depression, anxiety is something that you struggle with. And honestly, like, this was something that I kind of had to come to terms with as well, because as you guys know, I am really adverse to taking prescription medications if I absolutely don't have to. It's like a last resort thing for me, especially while pregnant, just because I know how critical that time is when baby is in utero, especially in the first trimester. And I was just nervous about that. But after talking with the doctors that I talked with, they gave me a lot of confidence that this has been studied. It is pretty safe. And the one side effect that they say can happen is after birth, I guess baby can go through withdrawals, but I was talking to my current midwife about that. She says, yes, that's what she's heard also, but my midwife personally, who has delivered, you know, hundreds or thousands of babies, has never actually seen it. So it sounds like it might be a rare side effect when it does happen. My doctor also said that it can potentially increase the risk of your child being prone to depression and anxiety. But then my husband and I were talking about that, and if you are genetically predisposed to depression and anxiety, your child is going to be genetically predisposed to it anyway. So it's not like taking the drug or not taking the drug is going to make or break that, you know what I mean? Like, the bigger factor is the genetic factor. And so after talking that over with my nurse practitioner as well, she completely agreed with me as well. And she actually said that this was the route that she chose when she was pregnant with her son as well. That she actually talked with an OB who specializes in this, and she came to the same conclusion for herself, and she decided to stay on her anti-anxiety medication as well. So I really respect her opinion. She and I have a very good rapport. I very much am on board with her philosophy, and if she says that she was trusting enough to do that in her own pregnancy, I felt really confident in doing it in mine as well. So anyway, I don't even know if I have a ultimate point in talking about this other than just wanting to encourage you guys that if you are someone like me who struggles with depression or anxiety, don't shy away from putting your mental health first. Because when you are a mom, your mental health is critical. To be a good parent, you have to be in a good place yourself. Through my experience now, I have ultimately learned that me taking this medication is more important than my crunchy ego. And I am a better mom when I am on it. I am more even keel. I don't have panic attacks anymore. I'm not afraid to go out and do more things with my kids for fear of anxiety and for fear of just being stressed out the whole time. Like, I can actually have the motivation to go out and do these things and enjoy it, you know? In my third pregnancy now, I really didn't want to be exposing my child to all of those stress hormones. So I really feel like me being on the medication makes me a lot more even keel, and I'm not experiencing that stress. I mean, you still get stressed sometimes. I mean, it's not like it makes you a emotionless robot. It just makes everything so much more manageable. You still very much feel emotion. I haven't had the experience of feeling numb or anything like that. I still very much feel everything. It just takes that really hard part of the anxiety out of the equation. For me, in my decision, that was ultimately the most important thing, and that was the decision that I have made. And not everybody is the same. Like, perhaps maybe you're somebody that just has really mild anxiety, and going off of a drug won't be that big of a deal for you. Or maybe if you're more like me, maybe staying on the drug is the right decision to make. Ultimately, talk to your doctor, because only you know your body and your doctor knows your body better than anybody else. And that's ultimately where you need to make that decision. But I just wanted to talk about my experience a little bit with that, and just encourage you guys that it's okay to do that. There's no shame in it. And if it's going to make you a better mom, a less stressed person, it's going to be better for your unborn baby, it's going to be better for your children who are already here. For me, it has just been so totally worth it. Oh, I was also going to mention that I did, once I did become pregnant, I did go to the very, very lowest dose that I could take, just because I still wanted to keep it, a minimum dose. And so being on the minimum dose, I still experienced just like a little more anxiety, but it's still like way better than it was when I was not on the medication. And so, once baby is born, I probably will go back to the dose that I was on before. Not that it was a super high dose, but it was like one notch up from what I'm on now. But I'm doing like totally fine being pregnant on that dose now. So that was another decision I made, was to just take the very lowest dose. But, even then, my doctor was saying you could still be on a much higher dose and it would be totally fine. That's just the choice that I made, and something to think about. So anyway, that is all I have to say about that, and just wanted to encourage you guys and know that if this is something you struggle with, you are not alone. Especially as mothers, we have a hard job, and our mental health is ultimately the most important thing in being a mom. I hope that's helpful for you guys if this is something that you struggle with, and just really wanted to be open and honest about all of that. And I just wanted to address that because some of you guys have asked me about that, and I thought it was a really good question. So yeah, if you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications bell if you want to see more authentic, real talk like this. Periodically, I like to make videos like that where I really just share my heart with you guys, and I'm just really honest and real, because I really feel like that's where the rubber meets the road, when we're making community with people. That's how we really feel supported and encouraged as mothers, because we really need to be doing that for each other as much as possible. We need to be lifting each other up. So anyway, I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.